Okay. Hello, everybody. My name is Jeff Pilato. I'm the Chief Strategy Officer here at Sodius. And today we're going to talk about the Magic Draw Publisher family, proven to be quite successful in the defense and aerospace industry. The Magic Draw Publisher will allow you to export or migrate your systems models to the Cameo Systems Modeler, or known as Magic Draw. Next slide, please. A little about our company. We're here in the Midwest, Chicago and Detroit. And we're a global leader in software solutions for data transformation, and that's what we're going to talk about here. Enterprise interoperability, enabling the digital engineering thread, and model-based code generation to improve digital engineering as well. So our solutions are primarily, that we're going to talk about today, are primarily in the US aerospace and defense companies and the DoD agencies themselves. Next slide, please. The Magic Draw publisher family will, as I said, allow you to export and migrate your solutions. And whether you need to deliver in Magic Draw or move your data out of Rhapsody completely, or System Architect or Rational Software Architect, the primary two challenges that you face is how do you get all those years of modeling IP migrated quickly? And when I say quickly, in less than a day. And how do you transfer that data consistently, accurately, including the diagrams for very large models? We'll talk more about that, but when I say large models, we're talking 3,000 diagrams, 900,000 model elements. Those are large models. So as of today, the Sodius Magic Draw Publisher family is the only solution that you have to be able to provide a fast, comprehensive solution to getting your models across. Next slide, please. And as I said earlier, we have three different versions of our tool. One that'll migrate or export your Rhapsody models, one for System Architect, and one for Rational Software Architect. Next slide, please. So the typical use cases, exporting, this is the primary use case. A customer wants to stay in their existing tool, such as Rhapsody, and they want to export for a customer deliverable, maybe to NavAir or the Army or something like that. And the objective, of course, is to have no manual work. You just hit the export button and it automatically generates your new model in the Magic Draw file format. Other models or other use cases include migrate. About 40% of our customers do migrate wholesale, such as the System Architect or Rational Software Architect, and some Rhapsody customers do that as well. Next slide, please. Hey, Robin, why don't you introduce yourself and go into a little more detail about this publisher for Rhapsody, please?
All right. Hello. Thanks, Jeff. Hi, my name is Robin McCullough. I am a Principal Solution Architect here at Sodius. I'm also President-elect Vice President of Michigan and COSI. I am your friendly neighborhood publisher product support person. So if you have a question, create a ticket in our portal, any of those sorts of things, I'm probably going to be the first person that you talk to. So nice to meet everyone. Thanks for attending and listening about our technology. Today, I'd like to briefly go over the capabilities of the products in the product family, here starting with the Rhapsody publisher for Rhapsody. Okay, so the publisher for Rhapsody initially was focusing on SysML. Because there's so much that you can do in these modeling tools and so many different ways that you can contextually use them that we had to bound it. Initially, it was SysML only, covering all model elements, all diagrams, full logging, detailed metrics, as well as user configurability, and we'll get into these later on. But we've also added the capabilities for UML. We have quite a few customers doing UML transformations. But for here, we're going to focus specifically on the SysML features. So, of course, our publisher is a set of rules that do a conversion or a transformation or publish between a an existing tool and another existing tool. You'll see here on the left side is what it looks like in Rhapsody. On the right side is what it looks like in Magic Draw. If you think about the two different tools and how they implemented the standards for SysML, UML, those sorts of things, there's different interpretations between the tools. So our publisher is designed to make those differences in interpretations not something that the engineers have to worry about. We explain those in modeling rules. And we'll get more into that later. But here you'll see structure diagrams. Notice placement, sizing, line routing, that sort of stuff is important. We understand that our customers don't auto-arrange your diagrams, so we keep that and maintain that through the transformations. And you'll see that on all of our products. One of the other things we've noticed with most of our customers, and especially here on the requirements diagrams, is customizability, customizing. Different groups like to show different things on different diagrams at different times, different compartments, different attributes, those sorts of things. And this is just showing here as the default. But there's also, and we'll get into it later, configuration files where you can say, I want to display this always on these types of diagrams, or I want to display this always on all diagrams, those sorts of things. So you can customize it to your styles and to your, your intent and context. And then, of course, the last group here is behavior diagrams. This has been difficult in the historically for our competitors and other tools to maintain not only the differences in the interpretations of the tools for the functionality in behavior diagrams, but also the spacing, the layout, the line types, the positioning, all of that is really difficult to manage, and that's where the publisher excels. It does the transformation. It allows the user to configure in instances where there's multiple ways to interpret a context. You can change the configuration settings and do that, and we'll talk about that later. But the intent of the publisher is to maintain the functional equivalent as well as the diagram layouts and what you guys do to build the context into how these things are organized and laid out. So like I alluded to previously, there are configurable layout options. One of the newest things in the publisher for Rhapsody recently has been colors. So we manage and maintain colors through the transformation. I know that, it's not contextual to the model to have the colors, but to SysML or UML. But we do know that our customers use the colors. So by popular customer demand, we've added colors. There's other things like, for example, in Rhapsody, you can have a name and a label. In Magic Draw, you only get one. You can choose through configuration settings which to use. In the transformation, you can configure departments. You can configure how your lines display. Are they rectilinear? Are they curvy? Do you have line jumps? Stereotypes that you want to display. And of course, colors, as you can see here. And we also transform if you use an image in place of an element, the images come over as well. One of the cool features of the Rhapsody publisher is the silent mode. I know this helps me extremely in validation because I can set it up to start running the publisher on an entire folder full of models. And when it's done, I'll have an entire folder full of Cameo projects. It's fast, and we have all the capability built in with all of the user documentation to configure this. So yeah, I use Python to invoke this numerous times, and if you have a lot of models to transform, this is a great way to do it. Latest release, we just released this in June. And one of the major improvements, if anybody's used our previous versions of the publisher, it took a bit to publish the larger models. In 2.5.0, we did a complete performance optimization, and it's, it says 5 times faster here. My model that's 3,000 diagrams 900,000 elements, took 14 hours to publish with 240 with 10 gigs of RAM allocated. It took 1.5 with 250. So it's a significant improvement. I'm very proud of our team. We've also, because of our, we work with our customers come back and they say, we customize with local tags, or we do dependencies or constraints or custom stereotypes this way. We've made improvements in the publisher for 250 to account for those differences in how customers use those, as well as custom stereotypes for diagrams. And lastly, one of the cool new features, which unfortunately is only available with Rhapsody 901, but free shape transformation. I know that some of the customers use, text boxes and those sorts of things. Now the publisher will also grab that as well. So let's move on to the next product in the product family, the publisher for System Architect. So much like the publisher for Rhapsody, we started with a rule set, a boundary to our definition for our rule set. So the publisher for System Architect right now publishes DODAF 2.0 models to UPDM 2.1. So it's a transformation of all model elements, diagrams, as well as logging. You'll see here on the left is System Architect DODAF 2. In the middle is our publisher. There's quite a lot of different transformation options, as well as a cute little snippet of what our HTML logging looks like, which is really cool feature of this publisher. And then on the right, of course, that's what it looks like in MagicDraw UPDM 2.1. So of course, our baseline or our boundary for our system was DODAF 2 mapping. So here, of course, is the standard definition of the viewpoints for DODAF 2. And here are some examples of publishes done on example models with System Architect, what it looks like in MagicDraw on the other end. Notice placement, line types, spacing, sizing, that's all maintained through the publish. Again, more examples of what the publisher is doing from System Architect to MagicDraw. You can see the line routing and line spacing and where the lines are on this. It's been maintained through the publish. We wanted to capture the modeling intent and the organization of the diagrams, as well as the content behind them. The next product we're going to talk about is the publisher for Rational Software Architect. This is another, the final product in our product family currently available on the shelf, off the shelf. So the publisher for Rational Software Architect, much like the publisher for Rhapsody and the publisher for SA, transforms from Rational Software Architect to MagicDraw. We offer two services. There's two different parts to this. You can transform RSA UML to MagicDraw UML, or you can transform RSA UPIA to a MagicDraw UPDM 2.1. So all of these, when there's a transformation or if there's differences in the tools, we have detailed online modeling guidelines documentation that talk about the rules and what these differences are. But again, our publisher, its intent is not to change data. It's to have a functionally equivalent and contextually the same layout, size, look, feel as the original model. So of course, all model element structure and hierarchy, custom profiles, diagrams and layouts, and full logging. So here's some examples of, here's the UML transformation. On the left, you see RSA. On the right, you see MagicDraw. In the middle, you see our application. It's just a standalone slash kind of plugin. You can make it a plugin that runs on your machine. So it's not like you have to go out and attach to a cloud or anything. It's just an application that runs. And then, of course, the other service that we have for the publisher for RSA is from UPIA to UPDM 2.1. So again, diagrams, layouts, elements, all of that fun stuff is all converted, and the placement, sizing, line types is maintained. So licensing and support. I talked a little bit about this. We do licensing. It's usually program-based. We offer floating or node locked. It's designed for both secure and non-secure labs. So we can offer the floating server, the FlexLM, FlexNet server, or we can node lock it to your machines. Most of our customers that have, secured or classified labs just node lock to the machine in there. It runs only on the machine. It doesn't go out to the internet and get anything. And then, of course, we offer a free try before you buy option. I know I spoke at the NBIA Mission Systems Conference, and they were all about try before you buy. We agree. There's no way that I can prove to a customer that our tool will work for them in their environment with their context and their style and all of that fun stuff. So we offer you the ability to run the full publisher with the only thing that it does is it puts a watermark on the diagrams. And with the trial, you get, the full support from our team, and it will help you configure the tool for if you do eventually purchase it, it'll all be ready to go with your style and everything set up already. And of course, you get to see the exported format and do all of your, evaluating through the trial event. We also use these trial events to help us product roadmap. So if you're doing the trial and you say, hey, I found something that's a problem, or something that we do differently that, we want this rule added, usually by the time the purchase order goes through, we're able to create or make that update in the tool. So of course, we support the teams. We have 24/7 support. We have the an Atlassian customer service project. There's online user documentation, HTML. We're always adding to it. We also have knowledge base articles. If a customer asks a question, in most cases, we either update our documentation, we add a frequently asked questions, or we'll add a knowledge base article. Because if you're asking, we know other customers are going to ask as well. And then, of course, all of our software is available through our, Atlassian download portals. You can download it. A lot of our customers go out there and they download it, and then they run it through whatever IT security things they need to do at any time. So it takes the burden off your teams and logistics to get it approved. So I think at this point, I'm going to hand it back to Jeff to talk about our key customers and feedback.
Hey, thank you, Robin. Nice job. Could you go to the next slide, please? This is a quick snapshot of some of our customers. You can see NavAir in here. Missile Defense Agency was a new customer just about 3 months ago. The Navy, the Army, Department of Homeland Security, and then, of course, companies that support them, Lockheed Martin, Boeing, Northrop, Airbus, Dynetics, etc. Next slide, please. I'm going to talk about 3 customer proof points here. Raytheon worked very, very closely with us in the early phases of the product development, and they wanted to literally be able to push a button, just a button, and not have to do anything in their Cameo model and email that to the Navy as their deliverable. They wanted to stay in Rhapsody. They fought the Navy on that, and they won. Working with us very closely, they were able to export a rather small model, 37,000 files. Actually, this isn't a small model, 812,000 elements and 703 diagrams, and a total time to export it was about 2 hours. If they had to rewrite the model, they felt it would take at least 18 weeks to rewrite the model into Cameo Magic Draw format. And bottom line, Chris Finley was the project manager. He's no longer there. He's at some other company, I think SAIC. But bottom line, got it down to 2 hours with a click of the button. The Army, this one was a challenging model as well. This was the Redstone Arsenal in, I think, Alabama. Small model for the number of diagrams, but it was a huge, huge, huge model. When it came to model elements, I think that was up in the 800,000 or 900,000 model elements. They felt it would take man years to complete, and the total time to export it was less than a day. It was a really fun project because they were telling us, gee, Jeff, the amount of time it took us to do this was a lot less than it took them to actually get through all the approval cycle to get this thing purchased. And then Northrop Grumman. This one, I think, nope, this is Max Yervowski, okay. This one was a good sized model as well. Total time to export it was about 30 minutes. They felt it would take months if they had to redo the model for that program. And we've got several others. If anybody wants to talk to me about it offline, I'd be more than glad to talk to you about those. But Willie, I see you're out there. Try this new version 2.5. I think you'd be pretty excited about how we've evolved the product. Next slide, please. So the value proposition of the publishers, it saves engineering time. You don't have to rewrite all those models. And by rewriting those models, that's money. It costs, manpower is money. So it's going to save a lot of time with the automation. You're going to maintain your data integrity or quality. Bottom line, it's quality. What was the original intent of the modeler when they wrote that model in the legacy tool? Now you're writing it in the new tool. It's human. You're going to make errors. So this automation solution does it in a way where there's no human errors or ambiguity with regards to intent. And you're increasing the ROI of your existing IP, all those legacy tools created over the years. Next slide, please. So we encourage you to start your free trial today or tomorrow. Again, Robin will talk more about this, but we're going to send you this slide deck when we're done here today, everybody that's attended, and you can just push these links to get access to the website to start your trial. Next slide, please. Okay, we're going to just give you a quick snapshot of two other products that we have that seem to be really popular with our customers that we've been selling that enable the thread of digital engineering. Next one. And these two slides are OSLC Connect for Jira and the Doors Migration Toolkit. So OSLC Connect for Jira, basically what it does is it takes your Jira team and hooks them automatically, links them into the IBM ELM Jazz environment. It'll help you connect to Doors Classic, Doors Next Gen, the new engineering workflow management, engineering test management. It also supports global configuration, which is really key if you're building a variety of products based on similar architecture. It also supports TRS, the reporting solutions, and any other product that's OSLC enabled like Siemens Polarian. So it seems to be the hot ticket today. This is selling quite nicely, and it basically is needed if you want to enable your digital engineering thread. Another hot ticket is the migration of Doors Classic database to Doors Next Gen. Basically, it will automatically enable the migration of that database with maybe 3 or 4 hours of setup on the Doors Next Gen side, and it automatically does all the rest. It's not services heavy, it's not manpower heavy. It allows you to do everything you need to do to move to Doors Next. Next slide, please. And that's it for our presentation today. Robin, thank you. You did a great job. I appreciate it. My contact information is here. Please feel free to reach out to me. if you have any questions or suggestions. I'm going to check now to see if there are any questions.